contributions to the development of the sector on Nevis. The NIA has invested over $150,000 in the production of fruit crops at the estate, and more than 3,000 trees have already been planted. The young Sugar Girls are off to a good start with their 4-1 victory against USVI in the Concacaf Under-17 Women's Tournament. More in this report.
The St. Kitts and Nevis Under-17 women's team got their Concacaf tournament off to a great start with a 4-1 victory over the U.S. Virgin Islands on Wednesday at the IMG Academy in Florida. Sharima Blake scored the first goal of the match for the Sugar Girls in the 15th minute with a beautifully executed shot into the back of the net. 10 minutes later, Michaela Gums added a second goal to give the Sugar Girls a 2-0 halftime lead. Unfortunately, team captain Michaela Gums scored an own goal in the second half in the 56th minute, but Trisha Nisbet and star striker Jazara Claxton ensured the St. Kitts Nevis team remained in the driver's seat, adding 2 more goals in the 77th and 4th minute of stoppage time, respectively. Coach Earl Jones was pleased with his team's performance, though he pointed out there was room for improvement.
Could do a lot better. Kudos to them. We won the game, we won the game, but there's a lot of room for improvement. We still don't want to kill them too much and make them feel like we actually lose the game when we win. But I mean, we have some areas we need to sharpen up on, and we will have to do that for the upcoming game.
He was also a bit disappointed to have conceded a goal.
Well, anybody will be disappointed about that. But at the same time, that's the game, you know. Sometimes you do things to try to stop goals from scoring, and then, hey, something just pop up. Just better we go and come again. That's the game.
Prior to the match, Coach Jones was brimming with confidence and believes the team will excel in the tournament.
Man, preparation is extraordinary. I can't even find words to express myself. I mean, the sporting staff have been doing a very good job. I mean, on and off the field. Andre, if I stay here all morning talking about preparation, trust me, I wouldn't stop.
Captain of the team, Malaika Rouse, shares the same confidence as her coach that the young Sugar Girls will excel in this tournament. She explains why.
The spirit is high, right about now. Everybody right about now is confident, really willing to play, and willing to win the game today.
What makes you so confident?
All the training, coaches, the staff, working together.
St. Kitts and Nevis is in Group A with Dominica, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Suriname. The Sugar Girls will next play Suriname on Friday. The St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association congratulates the team and wishes them all the best as the tournament progresses.
And we're moving now to news on the regional scene. More details have emerged on the cult-like church in Jamaica, where 2 congregants of the Pathways International Kingdom Restoration Ministries in Albion, St. James, were fatally stabbed in an alleged sacrificial ritual, and another member was shot dead during an altercation with the police. The Independent Commissioner of Investigations conducted searches in the area on Tuesday. More in the CVM Live News report.
A religious tragedy, that's how the Jamaica Council of Churches, JCC, has described the loss of life and injury connected to the Pathways International Kingdom Restoration Ministries in Albion, St. James. In a release, the council denounced and condemned all forms of religious practices which exploit and endanger persons, exposing them to harm or distress. When our news team arrived on the scene Tuesday, members of the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, were seen combing through the area. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang notes prior to the incident, police intervention would have been limited given the current legislation.
The question of how you intervene, the whole question of the right to assemble, to gather and to practice religion is raised, and is something we'll have to look at. But from my understanding of the current legislation and the Constitution, it was difficult to do anything to stop the events happening. I said there's some good fortune that one lady, I expect, seeing the trauma of the event that she was witnessing, broke the cycle of what you might call in trance, and she came out and reported what was happening.
Guyana has managed to preserve and protect the environment even in the face of oil production. This assurance was recently given by President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali at the Guyana Nationals Day celebrations at Expo 2020 in Dubai. Wendell Badri of HGP Nightly News has the details.
The president told a gathering of high-level officials and several millions who were glued to their television sets and other gadgets to watch the Expo's online broadcast that Ghana has not waned in its commitment to the preservation and protection of the environment.
We'll continue to pursue oil production offshore, but onshore, we will definitely intensify our efforts at decarbonization of the economy.
During a recent conversation with the European Union ambassador to Ghana and Suriname, Fernando Ponce-Canto, he posited that Ghana and Suriname have recently undertaken to exploit their oil resources and that he would like to see both countries do so in a way that is sustainable to the environment and for their people. Ponce-Canto suggested that a possible advantage that both countries have is that they do not have to make the same mistakes that have already been made by countries such as those within the EU, which have already traversed those paths. In that regard, he acknowledged that the EU stands ready to offer support to both Guyana and Suriname.
Guyana and Suriname had one advantage, and that is that many people have done this before, and many people, including in Europe, have made many mistakes. We have made many mistakes in the past, but I think that we learn from the mistakes. We have to learn from the mistakes, and there is all this experience. We are, of course, very happy to support. The European Union is ready and willing to share all kinds of experiences.
Ponce-Canto asserted that the governments of Ghana and Suriname are working along well with the European Union.
We are working very well in many areas with the government of Guyana, also with the government of Suriname. So I'm confident that this is very high in the preoccupations of the decision makers.
In spite of the president's declaration, however, earlier in the year, ExxonMobil had to be flagged repeatedly for flaring aboard the Liza Destiny FPSO in the Stabroek Block. The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, also had to institute fines amounting to some $30 per ton of carbon dioxide equivalent as the oil giant continued to flare due to a damaged flash gas compressor, which had to be resent to the manufacturer in Germany for repairs. That process took several months to complete. Environmentalists remain concerned about the damaging effects oil production may have on marine life, especially in relation to an oil spill. They have repeatedly called for the government to be more stern with the operator in that regard. Meanwhile, the EU ambassador admitted that the main aim of the EU is to eradicate poverty from among its people and that the body likes helping nation partners, especially developing ones, such as Ghana and Suriname, and will continue to work with them in that regard. Wendell Badri, HGP 90.
And we're moving now to news on the international scene. The man accused of killing 17 people at a Florida high school in 2018 has pleaded guilty in court. Nicholas Cruz was expelled from the school days before the shooting. A jury will now decide whether he should be executed or sentenced to life in prison. Al Jazeera's Andy Gallagher reports.
On the afternoon of February the 14th, 2018, then 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz walked into Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida with an assault rifle. The expelled pupil fired indiscriminately, killing 14 students and 3 staff members in one of the worst mass shootings in US history. It took him just 6 minutes to devastate an entire community. 3 years later, Cruz appeared in court as victims' families watched, waiving his right to a trial.
How do you wish to plead?
Guilty.
Instead, he pleaded guilty to 17 counts of murder and 17 of attempted murder. He'll now face either life behind bars or the death penalty, and offered this apology to those who lost loved ones.
I'm sorry, and I can't even watch TV anymore. And I'm trying my best to maintain my composure, and I just want you to know I'm really sorry. And I hope you give me a chance to try to help others.
For those that lost children in the shooting, watching the proceedings was heartbreaking.
Was probably the most uncomfortable thing, well, second most uncomfortable thing we've ever had to do. First one would be hugging our daughter's lifeless body.
In the aftermath, a student-led movement calling for gun control found wide support across the world. A new generation of advocates push for tougher restrictions on guns, including raising the minimum age to buy an assault rifle in Florida. That effort succeeded, but survivors say the measures don't go far enough.
No one could comprehend the devastating aftermath or how far this would reach or where this would go. for those who still can't comprehend because they refuse to, I'll tell you where it went. Right into the ground, 6 feet deep.
Cruz's guilty pleas will do little to heal this community, but with a trial and sentencing pending, it may help. Jury selection will begin in January, but the best case scenario for Nicholas Cruz is dying in jail. Those left behind say they'll only be satisfied when children no longer have to live with the threat of gun violence. Andy Gallagher, Al Jazeera, Miami, Florida.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration authorized booster doses of the COVID-19 vaccines from Moderna and Johnson & Johnson and said Americans can choose a different shot from their original inoculation as a booster. More in this Reuters report.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration on Wednesday authorized COVID-19 boosters from Moderna and Johnson & Johnson and also said Americans can choose a booster different from their original shot. That paves the way for millions more Americans to get additional protection as the Delta variant sparks breakthrough infections in vaccinated people. The FDA previously authorized booster shots of Pfizer's vaccine 6 months after inoculation for people aged 65 and older and those at risk of severe disease or infection. Last week, an advisory panel to the FDA voted to recommend Moderna's booster, half the strength of its initial shots, for the same groups. The panel also recommended a second shot of the J&J vaccine for all recipients at least 2 months after receiving their first. While data indicated that mixing and matching different boosters was safe, FDA officials are still unclear on which combination of shots is best. Many countries, including the UK, have backed mix-and-match strategies for the widely used AstraZeneca vaccine, which is not authorized in the U.S. but based on similar technology as J&J.
Of 10 miles per hour from the east-southeast. Seas are not exceeding 1.5 meters or 5 feet. The weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis today predicts partly sunny skies in general. Tonight will be fair to partly cloudy in general. Sunset today will be at 5:46 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow at 6:05 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kyla Barrage.